Good afternoon or good evening, everybody. Welcome to Pop Go the Writers. Now, you'll notice that Paul is not with us yet, but that's because I literally just jumped over here. I was on the Experience doing a show over there. So now I am here, fired it up. I have sent Paul the invite to get him on the show. So hopefully he will be here in just a moment, and then we'll get going. But wanted to go ahead and get the show going live before too long. So it's been an interesting week. I've got my Kickstarter going on right now for Karma. And hey, look, there is Paul. He is joining us. Say hello, Paul.
Hello, Paul.
Yes, I went ahead and jumped over here, started the show, and sent you the invite. Figured that was.
Oh. Sync it up in post.
Yeah, you were planning that, weren't you? How you doing, sir?
Not too bad. How about you?
I'm doing all right. Dealing with the COVID everywhere. Lisa is just coming off of COVID. My nephew, who lives with us, is just had an exposure to COVID. So
How fun.
yeah. And of course, pushing Karma, the Kickstarter. There's the link in chat for anybody who is interested. We just broke 800 backers a few minutes ago while I was on the other show talking about it.
Yep.
So
I have seen it. I have read it. I enjoyed it. You should check it out, and if possible, back. I am not being compensated by Dan for this promo.
Definitely not. That'd be we have to get a lot more money off of Kickstarter for that.
Yeah.
So
bribe Paul, because you know how much my integrity costs.
It makes me think of the old Rip Taylor show. What was it, $1.98 beauty pageant?
There you go. Yeah.
How's that for an old pull?
Wow. Yeah. Rip Taylor.
Yes. I always thought he was funny as hell.
I did too. Too. So yeah, I'm pretty sure I don't have COVID, but I've been dealing with something. I tend to come down with a little bit of a cold in the winter. Yeah. But of course, what are the symptoms of a cold?
Very similar to COVID, yes.
Yeah. And I've been sleeping way too much. So anyway, so you were 800th subscriber or
backer, yeah.
Backer.
We just 800 and 801 signed on both while I was on the air there. So and we got some, we're trying to make that push. We're at about 36,000, almost 37,000. We want to try to get to 50 by the end of the thing. We got 11 days left. We got a few surprises still coming. Hopefully that'll push us over the top.
Cool.
But I think once we hit 50, I got to start thinking what the sequel is going to be. I think that's our goal point. So, so what have you been up to this week? Anything interesting?
Not anything terribly interesting. I've been to the extent I'm able. I'm trying to nail down the final version of the outline for another Halloween special for Stanley and Friends. I've been talking about that periodically. It had not come together. We scrapped the version that we were doing and then reworked it. Quite good, but I've got to get it all set down so we could fire it off to Storm King and let them give the thumbs up and then start writing it. Yeah, my whole plan for post comic shop has not followed my plan. It is been a bumpy road.
I know a lot of people are doing that. Like I said, Lisa just came off of COVID, and her plan coming out of getting her degree was to get through the holidays and then start job hunting, and of course got sick.
Yeah. So. Yep. That's never fun. I have in bursts of energy reorganized my apartment a bit. So why is it that as you're organizing your apartment, everything gets harder to find?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
because you put it in places you don't expect it to be.
Yes. Well, I love the stuff that I couldn't find before, but I saw when I was reorganizing and still can't find. It's like, oh, yeah. It's ah. So you pretty much just been doing the promotional tour?
Doing the promotional tour and trying to keep, like I said, Lisa's been sick, so I've been keeping her company through playing World of Warcraft with her online because I couldn't, go see her or anything because I
On
don't want to
account of
get
the
COVID.
COVID. Yeah.
Yeah. So we've been doing we used to play World of Warcraft a lot. We played from about 2007 for about 7, 8 years straight. We were playing constantly and then on and off. And there's a lot of older material that we missed when we kind of stepped away from it for a bit. There were certain races that got entered into the game or introduced to the game that we didn't unlock. So we've spent the last week or so unlocking these characters. And these are insane quest lines. You're playing for hours going through these things. And we're like 10, 12 levels over what you need to be to do these. But they're still taking forever because they're these long, arduous quest lines. And it's like, okay. And we've got opened up 4 of the 5 races. There's 1 race left to do. And the only reason we haven't done that one is because Lisa doesn't think they're cute.
And what are they?
The mechanomes.
As opposed to the carefully groomed metronomes.
Yes, yes. The metronomes we already have, they're standard. The mechanomes are like the biker gang in Book of Boba Fett. They have mods.
I gotcha.
Speaking of Book of Boba Fett.
Well, it's only 8 minutes in and you're already going to the main course.
No. We'll talk about Peacemaker, but have you watched anything else this week?
I have. What have I watched? Oh, I think I had finished up Titans before.
We talked about it last week, yeah.
Yeah, we talked about it last week. Finished up Young Justice, Phantoms. Boy, there was
Ben Affleck was a bomb in Phantoms.
Yo. Yeah. I watched the second season of DOTA, Dragon's Blood, which is, I can never remember. You actually looked it up last week and were like, oh, it's something armies. And I'm like, okay. I just think it's weird that they never tell you on Netflix. It just says Dota. Which is pretty good. I'm not usually a big, weirdly, not a big animation fan.
Uh-huh.
Oh, did I make a mistake though? I watched, because I just stumbled across it and I went, oh, okay, I'm going to watch this. The Dragons of Autumn Twilight cartoon based on the first Dragonlance book.
Okay.
Which somehow I had missed. And it's got Lucy Lawless and Michael Rosenbaum and Kiefer Sutherland.
Oh my gosh.
In the cast. Yeah, they were pretty sure Kiefer wouldn't do it. Like all the trivia stuff is like, they were not sure he was going to do it until he started doing it because they were like, we can't pay him what he would want. But apparently he took it very seriously and studied up on the spells that were in the books and stuff. But it was very it was very 80s animation kind of stuff, even though it was done in the 90s. It was it hit most of the hit most of the beats of the books. The designs were kind of weird. Oh, Michelle Trachtenberg was in it too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And yeah, it was, I mean, it wasn't awful. It wasn't the Dungeons and Dragons movie.
Mhm.
But like the Dungeons and Dragons movie, the cast would have you believe it was better than it was going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you happen to see the cast announcement for Critical Role, the Vox Machina animated series that's coming out?
No, I have not. Am I in it?
No, but you might as well be, because they really did pull out. I mean, it's a lot of them are voice actors that you expect,
Yeah.
but then every once in a while it's like, oh yeah, Gina Torres is doing this part. How did you get Gina Torres? Yeah. Oh, and this character is played by David Tennant.
Really?
Yeah, or Dominic Monaghan.
Yeah. Well, apparently, the whole Vox Machina, the Critical Role thing, apparently has been very lucrative.
Oh yeah, they did. It was the highest Kickstarter ever.
Yeah, and
Passing,
yeah, and then plus all the merch and comics licenses, probably so apparently they have or I wonder how many of these people are just like, oh no, I watched the game on YouTube, so sure, I'll do it for scale.
Yeah, it could be. A lot of them are probably friends or coworkers of them, because they
Yeah.
are all voice actors, and
Yeah.
And but David Tennant, that's a big pull.
Yeah. Gina Torres has been doing voice work since what was it, Justice League Unlimited?
Yeah. Well,
So
David Tennant's been doing voice work too, with like DuckTales and stuff like that.
That's true. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah.
I don't like those racial stereotypes of Scottish people that they do on DuckTales, where the whole we're penny pinching and greedy, and so of course David Tennant's comfortable with it, so I guess I should shut up.
But yeah, I thought that was interesting. Another casting thing I saw, which was interesting, is Mary Elizabeth Winstead, I think is her name.
Okay.
Played Huntress in Birds of Prey, and I think she was in.
Oh gosh, what was the name of that movie she was just in?
Kate.
Kate.
Yeah, and then she was also in. Wasn't she in Scott Pilgrim versus the World? Or was it she was in one of the indie comic movies where she has like blue hair years ago. Might have been Ghost World.
Okay, she was Ramona Flowers.
Yeah, I think she was Ramona Flowers, and
And wasn't she like I can't remember if she was Bruce Willis's daughter in the later Die Hards, or she was Liam Neeson's daughter in Taken. But I think
probably Bruce Willis, but she, and of course she is in a relationship with Ewan McGregor, and they have a child together. Ewan.
Let's call the whole thing off.
Yes, Ewan McGregor. I've heard it pronounced Ewan and Ewan, so I'm not sure what to pronounce. Yeah,
I actually just go with the old Monty Python sketch about Ewan McTeagle and his poetry. Can I have 50 pounds to mend a shed? I can pay you back when the postal order comes from Australia.
Well, she is joining the Star Wars universe along with McGregor, but not in Obi-Wan. She is going to be in the Ahsoka Tano series.
Ah.
Now, they're not saying who she's playing, but of course, anytime there's a female cast for a Star Wars movie or a show, they immediately go, Is she Mara Jade?
Yeah. It is like the go-to. Like,
Yeah.
oh no, remember how Luke never, you know, got married and had kids with this
Yeah.
former Sith warrior? No.
Yeah. Yeah. Mara
Oh,
Jade might not exist, but that's the go-to. Everybody's like, oh, she might be Mara Jade. Now you're just wishing. That's like, yeah. That's like
yeah.
anytime someone's cast in the MCU. Are they a mutant? Is it Mephisto? Yeah.
Yes. Yes. They're all Mephisto.
Yes. Mara Jade is the Mephisto of the Star Wars universe.
Well, they both start with M.
That's true. That is very true. So,
Now, I get the feeling this is not actually, isn't this some sort of a gang symbol?
yes, I believe you've just
I,
called
I,
on the Crips to kill the Bloods. I hope you can live with the guilt.
M for Magneto or Mephisto or Mara Jade.
Do you remember when Magneto suddenly went from the costume he normally wears to that purple one piece suit that had like cutouts on the side and a
And the
giant
huge M?
M? Yeah.
Yes.
Was that like for midlife crisis?
Yeah. Well, I see, but that was because he had become a good guy.
With bad fashion sense.
Yes. But he had to wear something different because the other one was associated with his evilness.
Yes.
And like all the people he slaughtered didn't count now because he changed his outfit.
I find it funny how there are some characters that no matter what you do, you can't change their outfit. You always have to go back to the original.
Yeah.
And then there's some characters who can never settle on an outfit. It's like Spider-Man. They're constantly changing Spider-Man's costume, and then he goes back to the standard costume.
Right.
But you look at somebody like Wonder Man, and it's like, really, what is Wonder Man's best costume? Is it the safari jacket?
I do love the safari jacket.
It is unique. Or is it the green and yellow and multicolored one? Is it that weird, like, court jester outfit he had with the gold jetpacks on the back?
Yeah, but you got to have the WM worked into. I think actually probably if you took the Perez Ionic redesign, the old like sparkly wisps of energy stuff,
Yeah,
and you threw the safari jacket on that, like, yeah.
and
I think
the fact that he wore a safari jacket without a Panama hat, though, seems to be a faux pas.
Well, he might have. You can get away with it if you wear a pith helmet.
Yes, but you need to have the double-barreled shotgun open for loading, resting on your arm.
Yes, and also the facial hair, the Vander McBragg facial hair. There's talk about a going way back with that one, Commander McBragg.
This could be the reason why you and I aren't currently working for Marvel.
I could do a hell of a Wonder Man series.
You and me both, I think.
Yeah, find your own obscure character.
Fine, I'll go write Omega the Unknown.
Somebody was saying that they might be reviving Omega in the current Marvel U. And
well, they're bringing back Jack of Hearts, so anything is possible.
Yeah, but I with Omega though, because of the Steve Gerber connection, people are kind of seem a little bristly about it.
Yeah, true. I did pick those up when they came out as a kid. That was kind of funny. It's like, I have no idea what the story's about. But...
Yeah, and his secret identity is Dondi. So, or no, what's he and the kid and Omega were actually two separate people, weren't they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, it has. It has.
So. Yeah. So you see, kids, back in the day, comics used to cost 25 cents.
I'll tell you the truth. You know who I would really love to write? I would love to write a period piece for Dominic Fortune.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah.
1950s Dominic Fortune. That would be awesome.
Really,
I would.
50s.
Yeah.
Ah,
Maybe the 30s, but
yeah. Well, he's such a pulp hero that,
yeah.
yeah.
But basically a pulp adventure for Dominic Fortune.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I can see
All
that.
right.
But
We should probably get to the TV shows that we watch. Let's
the
start off
book of
with.
Boba Fett.
Nope. We're going to start with Peacemaker.
Oh, boy, I got to tell you, people don't read well these days. Their reading comprehension skills do not seem to be uh, A plus.
What do
So
you
I
mean?
posted on Facebook, I wish I loved anything as much as some of you love the Peacemaker opening.
Mm-hmm.
Now, from your perspective as a writer, did I insult Peacemaker or even the opening with that
No,
comment?
no.
Did I
You're just You're just saying
imply?
that some people love it, and yeah,
Yes, and I don't feel that I don't feel like I feel that way about anything.
yeah,
Uh, and people are like, "Oh no, because it's great, because this and that and the other thing," and I'm like, did not say anything against it. If I was slighting anyone or anything, it was the people who love the show that or the opening that much. It's not even the show either. It's just that opening. It's so great. Okay,
I,
I liked it. It was
yeah.
okay. It was it's funny.
And the
Uh,
song is kind of an earworm.
yeah, yeah. But I just was like, I about a half hour after I posted the first one, I posted Facebook where reading comprehension goes to die.
I wondered what those two are. Okay,
Yeah,
so
they were
though
linked.
there is a lot of interesting stuff coming out about that opening. There's a behind the scenes now for the opening, showing them learning the dance things, and then I guess the actor who plays Judo Master was occasionally poking his head out during the dance number. So if you like increase the intensity on the art on the still shots, you can
Yeah.
see him looking around the corner on a few different places.
So yeah. So what I guess we've just had the one new episode
Yes.
since when last we spoke. What'd
Yeah,
you
it's kind
think,
of funny.
man?
It's kind of funny that both of them now, both Boba Fett and Peacemaker, on the fourth episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it helps when you jumpstart it with releasing 3 episodes.
It does, but this show needed 3 episodes. It really did, because I think that first episode by itself was not a very good episode. The third episode's the one that got me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
so should we hit the spoiler banner? Because I'm sure we're going to get to something towards the end of the episode.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Let's put up the spoiler thing. Hey, Cody, how you doing? All right, let's put up the spoiler ticker. There we go.
So we're
talking about
the Peacemakers.
Mm-hmm. And it does pick up pretty much exactly where the third episode leaves off, except they're in the van instead of in the cave. Yeah. And Peacemaker says that he killed the butterfly after it got out.
He didn't kill the butterfly.
No, he's at home trying to get it high.
Yeah.
And Vigilante's whining about his toe, and they have to set him straight about you can lose your pinky toe and be able. It's the metatarsal that if you lose, you're done.
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting. I didn't know that. So,
I bet you they could design a shoe that would keep upright.
As good as the third episode is, where I have a problem with this show is when they kind of go into the emotional level of Peacemaker, of Chris, his connection to his father and stuff like that. That's where I don't enjoy the show as much. And they're back to that this week. So
well,
this one wasn't as good to me as the other ones.
It's not so much. I mean, you kind of understand people who have an attachment, strong attachment to their family, even though their family isn't very nice. I mean, how many,
Yeah.
how many mob families, are kind of like, well, yeah, I know it's, bad, but we see and we see that a lot in the movies and TV. I don't have anything to do with that stuff. Everything
Yeah.
you own is because of that stuff. But yeah, I mean, once they established that he was a uber racist supervillain, you're kind of like, Chris, stop defending him.
Yeah.
Um, but what you reading, Dan? Oh,
I was just checking on something. Let's see. Cody says, I'm good. I haven't watched Peacemaker yet for some reason. It doesn't interest me. Not that it doesn't look good, just waiting for all the episodes to come out so I can watch them all at once and interpret it that way. Yeah, this one was helped by them dropping a chunk at once.
yeah,
So that did help a lot. Um, I'm enjoying the character of Vigilante quite a bit. Uh, Leota is a much better character, or Abadayo is a better character than I expected. Everybody else is pretty much on par where I thought they would be. I haven't seen a whole lot of
yeah,
character growth yet from them,
yeah.
but
But we're learning more about Economos.
yes, yes, Kanamos is interesting. Harcourt is. I mean, they're all interesting characters.
Yeah,
Um, one of the things that I learned this week is that the gentleman who's playing Vigilante, Freddie Stroma,
yeah.
joined the show late.
Ah,
They had another guy involved. They had another guy cast as Vigilante. They shot 5.5 episodes with him. Realized it wasn't working, so they let him go. Creative differences. Brought in Freddie Stroma. Reshot all the scenes with Vigilante in them, and then moved forward. Well, Stroma came in, got into character, and tried to keep in character as much as he could. So much so that when everything wrapped and he went back to being his normal self,
mm-hmm.
John Cena almost fell over because Freddie Stroma was British.
Yeah,
John Cena didn't know he had a British accent, or that he spoke, that he was doing an American accent for all those weeks.
right.
So when suddenly he heard him being normal British voice, he was like, "What the hell?" You know?
Hey, Governor, let's go get some bubbling squeak. Roy?
Oh God! Hopefully he's not doing that accent that Oscar Isaac is doing in the Moon Knight trailer. Have you? You've seen that, right?
Yes, thought it was odd. I don't
Very
remember,
it's almost Dickensian, you know.
but I don't remember any of Mark Spector's personalities having
Yeah.
a British accent. Cody, we have not talked about Boba Fett yet.
No, we'll get to that. So we're going to talk Peacemaker. We'll probably hit on the Moon Knight trailer, and then we'll go into Boba Fett.
Yeah, Boba Fett.
So
Boba Fett.
where? Yeah. Uh, so I enjoyed the episode of Peacemaker, but like I said, the more they get into the backstory and dealing with his dad, it slows down for me.
Yeah.
I really liked the third episode because it was all about the whole getting the butterflies, learning about them, the mission.
Yeah.
That's where I think it's a good show. The whole, as much as I like Robert Patrick, it drags when we're dealing with him.
Although I must say, one of my favorite parts of the fourth episode was Vigilante in prison, just prodding the white supremacists.
Oh my God, yes.
Because he kind of comes off like as a total screw, like kind of goofy.
Yeah.
Except for his cool costume, and obviously he can shoot. But
Yeah.
he comes off as kind of, he's kind of sad. And then you don't expect him to come out with this really super sharp, nasty slams against these guys.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So let's talk about the the advancement or the contributions of the black culture. It's like, oh Lord.
That's
uh,
oh
I,
man. Yeah.
I
What's
did
your
find it
favorite?
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did find it interesting that it was Harcourt that was sent to pick him up out of jail,
Yeah.
and that she was very sympathetic. And it makes me wonder: is she starting to handle him now that he's an asset?
Mm.
You know, I mean, it's a very different attitude than how she handles Peacemaker.
That's true. But remember, Vigilante pulled the trigger where Peacemaker was like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, that's the
so
thing is she looking at Vigilante as the new asset to manage?
yeah, yeah. I think that's possible that she just may just respect him a little bit more, despite his whiny
Yeah.
stuff,
Oh,
because
oh, he's a
he
total
did what
he's a total
yeah,
sociopath, but he can pull the trigger when needed.
which
You
is
know?
kind of what they were hoping Peacemaker would do. That he actually did. He actually fulfilled the role that they thought they brought Peacemaker on for.
Right.
Um, and so yeah, I'm I think it's a perfectly fine show. I still feel like it's not really for me,
Mhm.
which is fine. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
You know, people are like, oh, you gotta love this show, and I'm like, oh, if you ever want to get me to not like a show or a movie or something, tell me I gotta love it.
Well, it's like
Because I will
I'm
be more
seeing
critical.
reports that it's the highest reviewed or the most positively reviewed DC project ever,
Wow.
passing the first Wonder Woman movie.
Yeah. I was gonna say, although that's not really that high a bar. Yeah. Um,
Well, the first Wonder Woman movie was loved by pretty universally.
although very quickly I did notice that they turned on of course, that last act.
Oh yeah,
Um,
we like to build things up so we can then tear them down.
I don't like doing that, Dan. Although I
No.
feel that you're very insightful and wise.
Man. So, what about the twist ending?
Oh,
Did you think that was a
that
twist?
did catch me off great because, like, at first I just took it as, oh, he's just kind of like tired and not, you know, it didn't connect with me that he was, just being uh zombified.
Obtuse? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I thought, oh, he's just tired and worried about stuff, and that slurp. And I was like, oh, I should have seen that. I should have realized that. But yeah, that's now are we I'm sure I'm wrong because I always am on this stuff. But I'm thinking, is there a war between the butterflies, or is he just there to contain it?
I started thinking of Buckaroo Banzai when it's discovered there's aliens, but there's two kinds of aliens.
Yes.
And I'm thinking maybe he's a different kind of alien, and that's why he's in an African American body. Because that's what they did in Buckaroo Banzai.
Well, plus the Jamaican accent.
Yeah. But if anybody is going to pull from Buckaroo Banzai, it's James Gunn. You know, the guy that grew up on Trauma. But
Yeah.
he got his start at Trauma. So yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
but
kind of curious. But then Judo Master tries to say, you know, the butterflies aren't what you think.
Right.
And then he gets shot. And little guy won't die. Jeez.
Yeah. Well, he knows all those, secret martial arts techniques.
To replace your heart with your liver or kidney or whatever it was.
Kidney. It's like, you can't do that. Sure you can.
It is such a weird show.
It is that.
They brought up Matter Eater Lad.
Which disappointed me because, as you know, Matter Eater Lad is from the future. He's part of the Legion of Superheroes. So obviously Peacemaker couldn't have hung out with Matter Eater Lad.
He could have time traveled.
Oh, I think they would have euthanized Peacemaker if he had traveled to the 31st century.
Well, no, Matter Eater Lad could have come back.
Because he really wanted to eat a Wendy's.
Yes. Look, they brought up Bat-Mite in the third episode.
That's true.
At this point, anything is possible.
Yeah.
And we know that the people over at Warner Brothers don't care about continuity anymore.
Right. True.
Yeah, they're just, anything you want to do, go ahead. What the hell?
Yeah.
Hey, the Flash movie guy is going to show up in the Flash TV show. Wonderful idea. Let's make that happen.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are kind of like, I don't know. Do you think it's going to make us some more money? Go ahead and do it.
Yeah. We got new bosses coming in. Yeah, we got new bosses coming in soon anyway. We're probably going to get fired. It doesn't matter. What do you want to do? Go for it.
Yeah, see, they've got one of those hotel revolving doors, the ones that are powered.
Yeah.
So, except it's kind of turned up. So,
hey, here's the new boss. Go right ahead.
Yeah,
whatever you want to do, it's fine. James, go for it.
Yeah, it's kind of you're talking about how Judo Master won't die, and then you've got Peacemaker constantly breaking things.
Yes.
Yeah, just like bashing himself all to heck.
That escape from that apartment was so painful.
Yes. Yes, because you know how I feel about that apartment escape.
Yeah.
All the records would be broken, man. All of them. I don't have a problem with a weird insect thing running a human through by burrowing into its brain. No problem with that at all. But you're telling me that any of those records or CDs came through unscathed? I'm not buying.
Oh yeah, definitely not. Definitely not.
Yeah, I'm totally on board with the eagle that gives hugs, but yeah, no, I cannot abide the idea that any of those survived.
All right, I think we've covered Peacemaker pretty well. I think it's continuing to be an interesting show. It's gonna have its audience. You're not among it. I'm sticking with it. The highlights for me keep me around. Then again, I'm a fan of the opening credits. I don't skip them when they play because they give you that skip option, and I let them play, and I skip most credits. So
yeah, especially when you're watching things in sequence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, that dance number I got to keep watching.
Right. No, but usually, if you're watching a couple of things in a row, it's like, oh no, I don't need to hear the theme song again.
Yeah. The only other one that I kept going was Daredevil. I really liked the theme for Daredevil when that was on. Yeah. But let's go ahead and move on to the trailer for Moon Knight.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yes. I like, we had this whole thing of how I thought it was interesting that they got the whole phone call, like, Mark, what's going on with you? Who's Mark?
Why are you calling me Mark?
Consider yourself one of us. Consider yourself part of the family.
Yeah. Hey, let's have you play multiple personalities with different voices, and one of them can be Dick Van Dyke from Mary Poppins.
I was going with Jack Wilde from Oliver, but
yeah, about the same.
yeah.
Yeah.
Tough and stuff. We already covered
my hope is that they're using the Stephen Grant character to bring people in, because he's kind of, the way they're playing him, he's kind of this sad character. You know, he can't sleep, he doesn't know what's going on, so he's a sympathetic character. So you bring people in that way.
and Into the Night.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So, as opposed to bringing the reader in with, or the viewer in with, Mark Spector, who's this badass mercenary, or with Moon Knight himself,
or even with the Stephen Grant from the comics, who comes across way too much like Bruce Wayne.
Yes, though I will defend to this day that Moon Knight is not Marvel's Batman. He's the Shadow. If you compare his origin to the Shadow, it's almost parallel, not to Batman's, even though he may have been their Batman when they first created him in Werewolf by Night, but by the time they actually gave him an origin, it's the Shadow's origin.
Yeah. Mercenary, Well,
comes back to the city, takes on a persona of a rich person.
Yes, which a lot of people don't realize. Even people who think they're Shadow fans don't realize that the Shadow's name is not Lamont Cranston. It's Kent Allard.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, that's yes, and Lamont Cranston is a rich playboy who the Shadow said, "I'm going to take your identity while you are out of the country," and
out of the country.
Yes, and that's when Cranston did a Chad. Okay, thought I'd bring in Pete Davidson.
Did you see that?
I thought
good.
Okay, no, I thought. Are you wearing the cap in honor of Jake Loxley?
No, I wear these caps all the time now for the shows, but yeah, it's definitely a cabbie cap. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but
this is the newer one, by the way. This is my blue one.
Yeah, I thought that looked.
Usually, I wear
newer,
the black
very
one.
Sharp.
But yeah, thank you.
I thought it was interesting that they're kind of going at it as like, he says he can't sleep, but is it that he can't sleep, or is it that he's passing out and going out and being Moon Knight? Noonmite?
Noonmite. Oh, there we go, Noonmite.
Noonmite would be the perfect Batmite analog.
Yes, it would. Wow. Okay.
I have a sun on my chest. I'm not. I think that the costume is a little busy for me.
It took me a little bit to get used to. When I saw it appear on him like mummy wraps, it made more sense to me.
Yes,
it was busy until I saw it go on him, and I went, okay. Also a departure from the comics.
Yeah,
but we're not reading the comics. We're watching a new interpretation of the character.
Sure.
So,
although comics novel and all sorts of writer Neil Clyde pointed out that that is also the way another Jewish superhero, Ragman, his costume is made up of all these rags that swirl around him and turn him into Ragman. And I was sort of like, that was my first thought as I saw the bandages going around him. I'm like, really, Ragman? That's a little odd. But
yeah,
hey, I'm still interested. It's still Moon Knight. I'm a big Moon Knight fan. I owned the second appearance of Moon Knight from the time it came out because I missed the first one on the shelf. I was actually on the rack. I was a huge Werewolf by Night fan.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait, there's a superhero in this? And it's like, well, not so much. But
more of a mercenary than a superhero, but yeah.
Right. He was dressed like a superhero, although that happened frequently with Werewolf by Night.
Yeah.
Like where his enemies would sometimes have garish outfits.
Now, what's interesting is we're gonna get a Werewolf by Night story in October. We're gonna get a live action with I can never remember his name. He was the main character in Mozart in the Jungle. Gale. All right, you talk. I'll look it up.
I was going to say the other way, since you have a better idea. Because it's not going to be the original Werewolf by Night. It's going to be the new Native American version, isn't it?
I thought he was not Native American. He was Hispanic.
Oh, then well, I mean that's depending
Gail
on
Garcia Bernal is the actor.
Oh,
I don't think. Yeah, I don't think he'll be playing Jack Russell.
In the comic, he was the new comic. I thought was a Native American character, although it's not unusual for Native Americans, to be connected with the Hispanic population because, unless because they're both indigenous peoples,
right,
from America.
Yep. Let's see. Jack Russell, which I still think Jack Russell's a hilarious name for a werewolf character.
And supposedly,
Jake Gomez is the new one. He's of Hopi descent. You're right.
Yeah. But, Saffron Burrows is in Werewolf by Night. Or no, she was in Mozart in the Jungle.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yes.
I'm like, yay, Saffron Burrows.
So it makes me wonder if we're going to get the character introduced here in Moon Knight, because there is the scene where he's beating the crap out of something in a bathroom that is not human. But it doesn't look very...
Yeah.
It doesn't look very furry, so it might be a jackal instead of a werewolf.
Could be.
So, because, we are talking about gods and like Anubis and Ra and all that.
Yeah.
Now, I think the most interesting thing may be if you had the subtitles on, you got names for characters we didn't get named in the trailer. Like the woman who calls it, the woman who calls him on the phone is named Layla.
Really?
Yes.
I just assumed it was Marlene.
So did I, but yeah, it's Layla. And then the gentleman who Ethan Hawke is playing is named Arthur Harrow, who is a really obscure Moon Knight villain who appeared in one episode of I think it was Volume 2 of Moon Knight, Issue 2. Wow. And he's basically a guy that works for Omicron, or Omnion is this corporation, and he's furthering the pain experiments that the Nazis were doing in Germany.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I don't think that's the villain we're getting. I think they're borrowing that name and giving it to a more modern character, the Sun King or Patient 86.
Okay.
Because he's never been given a name in the comics. He was always just Patient 86 or the Sun King when he became the avatar of Amun-Ra, who is supposed to be the father of Khonshu, who is Moon Knight's god.
Also, strangely, Amun-Ra is oh no, not quite. It's like you're starting Pig Latin for ramen.
Yeah, I thought I was going to get that or an Almond Joy joke.
Yeah, well.
But so yeah, it's going to be interesting. Like I said, I wonder if we're going to get Werewolf by Night introduced, since Moon Knight was introduced in a Werewolf by Night comic, and we're going to get a Werewolf by Night Halloween special. It would make sense. Also, I'm kind of curious where, are we going to get all the personas of Mark? Are we going to get Jake Lockley? Are we going to get Stephen Grant?
Yeah,
Are
I'll
we
be
going to get
curious to see if we'll get. Well, we've got Stephen Grant,
right?
but yes,
But
certainly
we've
not
got
the version.
Staven. We've got Staven,
Staven.
not Stavey.
Boy,
Staven.
Staven.
Yeah, and what's funny is there's a video online that shows Ethan Hawke and Oscar Isaac reacting to seeing the trailer for the first time, and even Oscar Isaac is picking on his accent there.
Yeah.
So which tells me that he's affecting it specifically for that persona, because you don't have him do that accent.
Yeah.
If you're going to have it, yeah, you don't cast Oscar Isaac to sound like that, because he doesn't sound like that. He's not English, you know?
Yeah. Holy moly. Lucy Davis is in this.
In Moon Knight?
I did not
heard that.
Yeah, So speaking of comparisons to speaking of the first Wonder Woman movie, as we were,
yeah, was that her in the museum telling him that he was a total waste?
Could have been. Yeah. I'll have to watch it again. I didn't. I forgot to rewatch because
I didn't mention it. Yeah, my bad.
Well, so
all right, we should probably move on to Book of Boba Fett, but we're going to we will be covering Moon Knight when it comes out. Mark, Paul, and I will be watching it and doing weekly episodes about Moon Knight. Eagerly watching it. I am a little concerned though, because Book of Boba Fett we're 4 episodes to go, so it's going to end in sometime in February. Moon Knight doesn't start till the end of March. That's a big chunk of time.
Yeah.
Why does Disney not have something ready to go to fill? Why is Disney not having a new Star Wars or Marvel property released every week?
Yeah.
They've got enough lined up.
Yeah. I don't know. It'll be, maybe they've got something that we're forgetting at this point.
Could be, but nothing that I've heard of. And I mean, they've already canceled Turner and Hooch, so there's no second season of that.
Sorry, I just oh, that's right, that was the thing.
Yes, it was.
Well, that's what you get for not casting Hanks for that role.
Yeah, Tom Hanks' son would have been the best choice for that. But
yeah.
All right, let's go on to Book of Boba Fett. I think we may finally be done with those damn flashbacks.
I saw a post from Steve Kenson, the designer, creator of Freedom City, the setting for Mutants and Masterminds. And he was the game developer on Mutants and Masterminds. And it was... and it was... see, this is where the problem is, Mr. Fett. You got some flashback in your tank. We'll just flush that out. You'll be fine.
Nice. All right. Cody wrote, well, I can say the flashbacks are taking up a lot of the episode, which is not what I was expecting. There was a little bit of background on the Mandalorian of what Boba went through. I am confused to why the episodes are filling with the flashbacks. It is setting up the fans have been curious about, but I don't know how to feel about them. With only 4 episodes left, it seems like they are building up to something big for maybe the last 2. I remember Paul talking about ... by the way, there's not 4 episodes left. There's 3 episodes left. It's a 7-episode series. And it was originally supposed to be 6, so I think they added an episode just so they could do more flashbacks. I think this
drive my blood pressure up.
I actually thought this week's flashbacks were a little more interesting because we were now back with Fennec and we were establishing the connection between Fennec. We were paralleling the Mandalorian episodes. So at Mando episode or chapter 5 of Mando, parallel to this episode when the light's in the sky and he goes and finds Fennec. So at least that made sense to me. The breaking in to get the fire spray gunship out.
I did like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so I thought, yeah. So I thought at least here they made sense. But then when he gets out of the damn tank and the guy goes, "You are now cured," I'm like, yes, finally, no more flashbacks.
Oh, actually, what you don't realize is the extra episode was not stuff they shot. They're just playing that Mando episode where he gets his suit back over again. Like, oh yeah, it's a season 2, episode 3 of Mandalorian.
I got a hangnail. Open up the back to tank.
Yeah,
and then we just. Oh man.
Yeah, it's but yes, when he said you were totally cured, I was like, yes. Yeah, I don't know.
A lot of stuff is happening that didn't need to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Boba wants to go to town. Oh, we just happen to go to the place where Black Chrysanthemum is, but Black Chrysanthemum just gets to tear apart some Trandoshans to remind everybody how much Wookiees and Trandoshans don't like each other, and rip off an arm because we've been promising an arm ripped Wookiee off by a Wookiee all these years. And then he hires him. Well, why didn't he just hire him in front of his damn palace?
Say, look, I'm going to need muscle. Do you want to stick around?
Yeah.
As opposed to, well, wasn't he going to give him back to... Well, no, he was going to release him to his employers. Then they were like, no, thank you. So then, yeah, perfect opportunity to just go,
exactly.
All right, you want to work for me instead? And also, I would have liked the reaction from the Hutts.
Yeah. And I would like to have seen it just so they would not have him jogging off in the... It was one of the most ridiculous things you ever see. Yeah.
But yeah. Well, what they needed was the right music for that.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot in this show that it's like, we really didn't need to see that. You know? Did we need to see the Major Domo do a car chase?
Yeah. And why couldn't we have seen the mayor do a car chase?
Yeah.
The mayor is the most referred to and least interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, Cody, I do agree with you that it was interesting to see the inside of Jabba's palace, especially with the little droid flying around. And I thought it was a nice little nod to General Grievous when the chef droid was spinning all the blades around. But then it got really creepy when she slit its throat open.
Yeah.
It was like,
why?
That just, yeah, that was a little much.
Hydraulic fluid.
I don't know. That was a little much, but and the little rabbit droid, the lep droid.
Yeah.
It's like, it's almost like they're just throwing shit in to have fun, and we're sitting there going, no, we really want a story. You know?
Could we get to the part where they've broken in and I'm trying to remember. Did we see Bib Fortuna get whacked in The Mandalorian?
Yes.
I should have watched again. And they did show a clip.
Yeah, it was a post-credit.
Okay. Because I was like, I can't remember. I thought I remembered it, but I couldn't. And then didn't they throw in just a quick clip in this?
Yeah.
I don't know. The pacing is odd.
It is.
In large part because of the flashbacks.
Yeah. Now, I thought the dinner scene was awesome. The meeting, very Godfather. And I love the fact that he had it on top of the Rancor pit. And there's a Rancor in there now, which definitely turned the tables for him. Because the fact that, everybody knows he doesn't have a Rancor, and, no, he has one. And we're going to get that at some point. He's going to be riding the Rancor into town.
I still can't figure out. It still doesn't make sense to me why they gave him the Rancor, but maybe we'll find out.
I think that they want him to go up against, they don't want to deal with the Pike. They want the Pike Syndicate and Boba Fett to beat each other up, and then whoever is left will be weaker for it, and then they can attack. Where if they don't make the mea culpas with Fett, there's a chance he's still going to go after them, and they don't want him. They don't want him divided. They don't want him going. So they want to completely clear that, so they're out of the picture, so these two could fight each other.
Yeah, okay, but it still seems excessive to me. But okay.
But the Hutts tend to do things excessive. Everything about them is excessive.
Yes. Oh ho ho! I am gratuitous Hutt.
Yes. They call me Gertie. Gratuitous Hutt. Gertie the Hutt.
Gertie.
Kind of like that, actually.
Yes, but you need to twist a crank to make him work. Gertie the Hutt.
But I do like that he's got Black Chrysanthemum back.
Yeah.
But again, I don't think we needed the scene. There's a lot of stuff that just doesn't feel like it's needed.
Well, especially like you have the whole thing where people are sending him around, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
it's like a quest line in World of Warcraft.
Tell the people to come to you.
Yep. It is like a quest line in World of Warcraft. Yeah. Or in Star Wars: The Old Republic. You need to go to talk to that guy over there. Okay. I'm the badass crime lord. I'll go.
Yes. And really, okay, he doesn't want to seem weak. And that's why he's not taking a litter.
Yeah.
But seriously, you can't get a speeder limo?
A Segway, even. Yeah. That would be.
A speedway. Wait, no, that's something else.
Or if you had some other mode of transportation, like a jetpack.
Or what am I thinking of?
Bantha?
Bantha.
Yes. By the way, Build-A-Bear has a Bantha now that you can get that is so insanely cute. I mean, it's ridiculously cute how well they made the Bantha. Because they've done a Grogu, and it looks horrible. The eyes are completely wrong. The Bantha is freaking adorable.
Does the Bantha make poodoo?
No, Hodo and Podo.
Wow. I remember a Hodo from from Game of Thrones. Who's Podo?
Oh, Kodo and Podo, excuse me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Cody says, when Boba rescued Fennec, I was waiting for her to mention Mando. Like, hey, I just ran into a Mandalorian. Maybe he knows about your armor. Also, the other gangs being scared by the Rancor was a nice touch. Fennec seems to be more interesting as well. With Boba being tired of risking his life, maybe he has some hard feelings about his father being killed due to the nature of the way his life. The sequence with the Rancor is intense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really did find it interesting, the whole conversation between him and Fennec about why he wants to be a crime lord, because that's something we didn't know. It didn't make sense for the character, but it does now when you put it into the context of all the stuff that he's done in his life, all the people he's worked for that nearly got him killed, that he just wants to control things. And I get that now. I kind of see that, and it makes a lot of sense. I thought it's an interesting twist. And there aren't a lot of characters who would understand it as well as Fennec would.
Right. Well, and it's basically that, every job you've ever had, you're like, oh my God, I could do better than the idiots that are running things.
Oh, yeah.
Not my last job, by the way. Because literally, they did that job, that the owners did that job much better than I could ever do it. However, every big corporate job I've ever had, I'm just like, oh my God, why are they so stupid?
Yes.
So yeah, when you also run the risk of dying in process, yeah, I could see that, where you want to be the shot caller, not the ammunition. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now, if you paid close attention during the episode, you probably noticed the two musical cues. When he's in the desert, he sees the light in the sky. They play a bit of the Mandalorian theme to let you know, hey, we're tying this into a Mandalorian episode. And then, of course, at the very end, when they're talking about credits and how you can buy muscle if you know where to look, they play the Mandalorian theme again. So, are we getting Din Djarin, or are we reaching out to Grief Karga to get some of his old bounty hunter people?
Yeah. Hey, maybe maybe we'll get to see. Oh shoot! Now I'm forgetting her name.
Cara Dune.
Bo-Katan has a
Bo-Katan?
squadron of.
See, now I would have a hard time with Bo-Katan coming because she didn't seem to like Boba, didn't called him a clone, and there seems to be bad blood between them. Now the fact
just
that
want to see Katie Sackhoff, Dan.
I know. Now the fact that Din Djarin has the dark saber and makes him kind of the ruler means that maybe if he goes, they go too. Especially if she wants to go. Well, wherever you're going with that blade, I'm going too.
Right.
Yeah, that way, in case somebody takes it off of you, I'm taking it off of them.
Well, I'm going back to the place that's farthest from the bright center of the universe. Not again.
Yeah.
For a place that is, if there's a bright center of the universe, this is the place that it's farthest from. Man, a lot of people are going to Tatooine often.
Oh yeah. Yep. And plus the fact that he needs muscle, it's a great reason to bring in some of the old bounty hunters.
Sure.
And how awesome would it be to see characters like the ones from Empire, the Bosk and Forlom and Zuckuss and Dengar, assuming Dengar is still alive. He didn't look like he was in good shape back then. I mean, yeah.
Well, yeah.
He looked like he was in a walking back to tank, Oh, yeah, I'm fine. I can kill him.
No, that was Finn in the sequels. Yes. That was in the walking back.
We don't talk about the sequels here.
Oh, you just try and stop me.
They don't exist.
No, the prequels don't exist.
I would take the prequels over the sequels any day.
I was actually swapping some tweets about the sequels the other day, and I just like, I still to this day cannot understand how you go into one of the biggest I hate the word franchise, but one of the biggest movie franchises of all time, and you go into it going like, we'll make it up as we go along.
All I know is that I look at the prequels and we have Maul, Sidious, Dooku, Count Dooku. What is his? No, he's not Sidious. He's
I can't remember he was. Yeah, he was Dooku.
Yeah, General Grievous. You have all these great villains, and you go to the future, the sequels, and you have Emo Kid and the Bad Clone. And then it's Palpatine's back. Snoke, Bad Clone.
Oh, right. And plus for a group that we kept hearing about, I really feel like the Knights of Ren should have showed up.
Yeah.
I feel like, ooh, he's the leader of the Knights of Ren. It's like, oh, he's a gang leader, but his gang never comes.
Yeah, that's like being in a band, a garage band, and you're the only member of the band.
Yeah.
Well, I'm still trying to find a guitarist and a bassist and a drummer and someone to
Keyboard,
sing. Yeah.
flutist,
I'll
because
just learn to play whatever we don't get. Yeah.
yeah. We're doing a Jethro Tull cover band, so we need a flautist and
Yes.
and also we're gonna do Partridge Family covers, so we need a tambourinist.
You don't ever need a tambourinist. You just
You
hand
do if
somebody.
you're
You just
if you're
hand
doing
somebody a
Partridge.
tambourine.
Yeah, no, that's I was gonna say, but if you're gonna do Partridge Family stuff, you got to have a tambourine.
Yeah, it's like if you do a deep purple, you got to have a cowbell. Yeah. Yeah, it's not a job you have to get somebody to train for. Just hit. Okay, you got it. Good. You're now our tambourinist.
Yeah, like, okay, you're not our tambourinist. You'll sweep.
Yes, but in rhythm.
Yeah. But yeah, I'll be curious though to see, because I'm still not sure what the end game is on this.
Mm,
You know,
yeah.
um, first season of The Mandalorian, he had to get the kid and then keep the kid safe.
Mm-hmm.
Second season, he needed to find somebody to train the kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one I'm just sort of like, okay, but uh, you know, does it just end with him going, now I really am the crime boss of Tatooine?
Yeah. I mean, it's we really don't know who the bad guy is yet, or who the bad guys are. I mean,
Well,
because
we do. They're the main characters. Yes, we
yes,
don't know the antagonists yet. It keeps being blurred. Like,
yeah.
oh,
I
it's the
mean,
Huts. Is it the Huts? Oh, it's
yeah,
the Pike Syndicate. Maybe.
yeah. It's the Clintook Striders or whatever they were. Nope, they're all dead now. Man, that was a brutal take. That was very old school Boba Fett. All of a sudden, I have lived with the Tuskens. I am a changed man. I am. Oh, those motherfuckers! Get my ship. Boom.
Well, and then Catherine Zeta-Jones comes out and sings "They Had It Coming"
Yeah. And
from
what was
Chicago.
exactly he doing with his ship, trying to look inside the Sarlacc pit? It's like
He was looking for his like, and we know they have scanners.
Yep.
And if excuse me for a second, if Beskar is so dense,
Yeah.
you would think your ship scanners could pick up on it.
Yep. And he doesn't remember getting out of the thing and actually getting hit by the Jawas and having his armor stolen.
Yeah, I could see that. Trauma, man. Trauma. Not to be
Yeah,
confused
but
with trauma.
at some point you'd have to think, well, do you remember taking your armor off because inside of the Sarlacc pit? Because at some point it just seems like, you know, it just doesn't make story sense for him to, I could see him looking around the Sarlacc pit and then
Right.
maybe having an attack. That would have made a lot more sense. Looking for some kind of trail or clue.
Yeah.
And it explains why he didn't go looking for it earlier, but
Well, I mean, come on, Dan. It's not like this guy is a professional hunter or some investigator of some kind. Oh,
yeah.
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 It did seem weird though. It seemed like entirely so they could have the tentacles came up and grabbed him and Fennec's on top of the ship and hey,
Though I do love that after it's all done, his first comment is, "Next time, don't press my buttons."
yes. My only complaint was he didn't have a brick wall behind him when he started doing his set.
it just drops down, but he was vertical, so it didn't. Yeah, yeah. The little backdrop didn't drop down properly because he was on the wrong.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
It just yeah.
That is,
again,
by the way, one of the dumbest that particular design of like, oh wait, it because so here's the quote bottom of the ship. So here's the chair, here's the chair. But then it goes like this. So it has to twist around as well as, it's not just pivoting. It's also got so it's like a gyroscope.
Yeah, it's not the best designed ship ever, but
yes.
it's kind of like Boba Fett. It was such a mystique about it.
Yeah. By the way, I think Cody has given us what the fill-in show will be on Disney.
Those darn Jawas.
Oh, I think I would probably like that show.
Yep, I think so too. Oh man, yeah, I'm still enjoying the show. I'm enjoying the portrayals by, Tamora Morrison is great as Boba Fett. I'm loving Ming-Na Wen as Fennec Shan. I'm enjoying. It's not Irene Cara. Who's the Flashdance lady?
Jennifer Beals.
Jennifer Beals as Whip. Garcia Whip. Yeah.
I really did like her whole thing where she had laid it out so nicely that really it would diminish you to do this. And then he's like,
I pay my tab.
Yeah.
The celebrity cameos are just getting weirder and weirder for me.
Yeah.
It's like the guy playing the modifier was the guy Thundercat, the musician.
Oh.
Yeah.
I did not realize.
Steven Thundercat something. He's a big name musician, and he wrote the music for that part of the story too. But at one point inside Sanctuary, one of the guests in Sanctuary is this guy who was on The Bachelor. Yeah.
Well, it's no Daniel Craig, but
right. Yeah. But it's just kind of interesting these cameos. They're trying to take me out of the scene,
Yeah.
It's like, oh hey, that's Stephen Root. Oh, that's Danny Trejo.
I actually, the Stormtrooper cameo in Mandalorian. Now that I liked.
Yeah.
Mostly because I just wanted somebody to be kicking around that stupid puppet.
Those were great. And the speeder bike troopers or speeder troopers. But I love the fact that in the big scene in, they got a bunch of actual 501st guys to be stormtroopers because they needed the armors. And instead of making them, they call in the 501st, which I thought was awesome. Yeah. So I love what they're doing there. But here it's like, oh, hey, my buddy, this guy wants to be in the show. And this guy wants to be in. Okay.
Now, what? Oh.
Stephen Root. Yeah. Stephen Root shows up in everything nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he's going to pop up on Pop Go the Raiders sometime. Just he's going to pop his head in through the window or something. Hello. Okay.
I said no thought on my margarita.
Have you seen my red stapler? No? Okay.
That's my stapler. It's mine. And of course, as I said, whenever you see Stephen Root, I think of
Stephen Root's going to be in Stephen Root's going to be in Critical Role.
Really?
Yes. I'm telling you, Stephen Root's in everything. He's doing a voice in Critical Role.
Nice. Yeah. Well, hey, I think well, at least it's not the other guy we used to see in the roles Stephen Root didn't do. Jeffrey
Jones.
Yeah, the one who had some stuff on his computer.
Yeah. They weren't his though. Did you hear the story? I have to bring this up now because it kind of reminds me of that. The excuse for having things on your computer you're not supposed to have. Did you see the story about the Florida man that got arrested for having cocaine strapped to his testicles and claimed it wasn't his?
Oh no, not his testicles. It was wrapped around his dong.
Okay.
And it was cocaine and meth.
Yes, there you go.
It wasn't mine. Really? Who put it there? Cody, speaking of which, he mentioned Stephen Root was on Justified. Although it's a bit far afield, it's still genre, crime genre.
And isn't Justified the same guy who played Cobb Vanth?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. There we got it. Yeah. Timothy Oliphant.
Yes.
I'm so excited. And apparently, like, the writing staff is coming back too.
Right.
So yeah, I'm hugely excited for that.
But they should just go ahead and set it in Most Pithos? What was the name of that small city that he was in?
Most Pelicos. Remember.
Most Pelicos.
Most Pelicos.
Yeah, just go ahead and just set it in.
Most Pelicos is, they went more Pelicos. And
you never go more Pelicos. You gotta hold back the amount of Pelicos.
Yeah, you gotta. No, actually, what I just want to see is like a bobblehead or something on his desk of a Star Wars, some Star Wars thing. But yeah, I am enjoying Boba Fett. For me, it just boy, they better pay off because I still don't feel like he bombed the hell out of the guys, but it still doesn't feel like there was a sufficient the story build up for the Tuskens does not feel like we've gotten the emotional payoff that we need.
Yeah. Cody agrees with you on Timothy Oliphant. Yes, I'm excited about it as well. I like him as Cobb Vanth, and hopefully he'll come back for an episode of Mandalorian or Book of Boba Fett. Yeah, I'd love to see him come back, especially if he's building up muscle. And if Din Djarin comes back, he might go, I got a friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's right. I had forgotten, though, that Din Djarin got the armor. And then Boba got it from him.
Yes.
I had forgotten that Boba did not meet Cobb.
Yeah. Now, I wonder if at any point, there's still that question of how he knew the Mandalorian was carrying his armor. That's the one part we don't know yet. And they didn't cover in the flashbacks, which I don't think we're going to get to because they look like they're done with the flashbacks. But
and now, and I don't think Fennec knew. No. So, but she could certainly mention the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
And this might be how. Oh no, because that would have been that. We're now post Mandalorian in the thing itself.
So, how did Boba learn that Din Djarin had the armor?
Well, hey, he's
because we just see him traveling across this. He's watching him. I got you, but why? But how did he hear about Most Pelicos? Didn't get there in time. We don't have that answer, and they've already wrapped up the flashbacks. Unless he gets wounded. Yeah, unless he gets wounded and thrown back in the back to tank. Like I said, I got a hangnail. Hang on.
I woke up this morning. My back is killing me. Back to tank. Well, I'm sorry. Flashback to tank. Put the other stuff back in.
That's right. All right. We're going to get close to wrapping this up because I have been on the air live now for almost 2.5 hours. Because I did an hour show prior to this, so.
You sent me the note saying, "Oh, I'm from 5 to 6. I'm going to be on this other show, and I thought, well, that leaves him plenty of. Oh wait, California time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
Yep.
like, that leaves you like 3 hours, Dan. What's the problem?
Yeah. No. And then tomorrow I'm going to be on Miss Jen has a show on in stores. This I don't know what the hell the name of her show is, but I'm on her show tomorrow at 2:30 my time. So
Yeah.
so I'll be on another show tomorrow, and then I got my shows all week. Yeah, so it's going to be a busy week, but I got to keep pushing the Kickstarter. We're in the final stretch. We've got 11 days left.
Coming to the climax.
I'm sorry, 10 days left, and we're at 801 backers, $36,700. So if you haven't checked out the Kickstarter, please do so. I would greatly appreciate it. There is the link once more. And that's it, guys. We're going to wrap it up here. Next week, we'll talk more about the next Peacemaker, the next book of Boba Fett, anything else that pops up. I don't think there's any other show that's coming up this week. Yeah. We're going to be getting
Cody. Reacher is going to be showing up in 2 weeks.
Early February, yeah. So we'll definitely be talking about Reacher because I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah.
So thank you, Cody, for joining us. Thank you, everybody else. Appreciate you guys being here. We will see you next week. Have a great